Hey guys, welcome to our review of Predator Killer of Killers. This on Hulu or Disney Plus if you're in international. This came out last week, but we just got around to seeing it just now and reviewing it. And we are eating good as Predator fans, by extension, Alien fans. You guys know I'm a big fan of these franchises. And it was announced that not only are we getting this animated film, but also Predator Badlands, a live-action version with that younger Predator that we've done a trailer reaction on. And I gotta say, after having just seen it, we have yet another awesome Predator film. It's good. It's a good time to be alive. It's not perfect. There are definitely some suspension of disbelief needed to be made here, but because it's in an animated form, I think that they can do a lot of crazy stuff that they can't really do in live action. I mean, they could, but it would cost $200-300 million. So as this kind of format, I think is perfect for the Predator franchise, especially if we get good stories, we get good characters, and that's what we get here in Predator Killer of Killers, and it's kind of a hard thing to do because when you're introducing not one, not two, but three different storylines, we've seen it, we thought it would be an anthology series, and it is. I would have been, look, who doesn't like Vikings, samurais, and World War II, right? That already was gonna, and then throw in Predators, that just seems like great fan fiction. That seems like great, like, yeah, they would probably be in these time periods, and the greatest of that era's fighter, how would a Predator do it? You do it in your head. And here they have made it in animated form, and not only that, but surprisingly, there's a final act, which ties these stories together, which I wasn't expecting because it's like, well, how do you do different time periods and stuff? There's an explanation there, and it's a good explanation and one that kind of surprised me at the end that Hulu and Disney, and, you know, after Fox let these licenses go to Disney, is taking serious. Disney is taking these licenses serious, and the people in charge of it seem to be passionate people that also, and so it's good to see finally that we have some passionate people in charge of the Predator license and passionate people in charge of the Aliens license. So this is Dan Trachtenberg, who did of Prey fame, and we were pleasantly surprised by Prey.
Yes.
So he directed this one. He also directed Prey, and yeah, Prey fans definitely need to watch. And I'm very happy that Disney or you know, whatever is giving him money in order to continue to do some of these. Now, one thing I will say is, I want you to remember this each time you watch a project with this kind of animation in it, because it makes me so annoyed when you have the choppy frames.
I was surprised. Yeah,
you knew I was going to say
yes,
that, right?
Yeah. I'm fine with it. But
I know, but for me, I'm not fine with it. So each time there is an animation with low frame rates per second, I want you to remember me in this face and then think about that I hate it. I hate it as much alongside you, even if you don't hate it as much as me. I hate it. It adds nothing. And it is a stylistic choice. It adds nothing. I think it only takes away from it. It requires getting used to. And often you can, but it's unnecessary. And I think this trend was started by Spider-Man or Arcane. But the thing is, Arcane is at the height of animation. And same thing with Spider-Man. It's taken them many years to develop that style. I actually hated it in Spider-Man as well. Arcane, for some reason, it's not quite as bad. But I do want to mention that I feel like the frames are lower here. Even half Arcane, half, Spider-Man, are a little bit on par with Spider-Man. And I dislike that. But that But obviously, when you're watching it, you can get over it kind of quickly. But it just makes me think, man, that fight scene would have been so much better if I had seen the other 30 frames of that fight scene. And so it kind of makes some of them herky-jerky when they get really fast. But other than that, I really, really liked this project. And I'm happy I like it. And I may actually love the project and the direction that they're implying. Because we get a satisfying story, but it seems to want to do more. Yes. And I'm happy for that. What did you guys think of Predator Killer of Killers?
I thought it's pretty good. If Dan keeps doing stuff like this, let him fucking take the reins and take over Aliens and the Prey.
Well, Aliens has got Fidesz, and I want to let Fidesz do his thing.
Yeah, but they're going to fight eventually.
They will. Yeah, I feel like they're setting it up.
Yeah, those two at the helm, they could probably do something very creative, and I'm looking forward to that.
I think there were, behind the scenes and interviews and stuff, they always smile and stuff when people are like, hey, a new Aliens vs. Predator that doesn't suck
It
this
has
time?
to happen.
And
the people want it. They want it. But this one was pretty good. I liked it a lot. I honestly didn't expect it to tie in with a lot with family.
Yeah.
It seemed like the recurring theme. I did not think this was all going to get all like connected. I thought it was going to be like its own little thing.
Yes.
But it is very much connected, and I do like it was animated, so they took a lot of liberties with the craziness. They ramped up the action, especially the dog fight.
Yes.
That was pretty epic. Yes. That would have costed a lot of money.
Oh, man. It probably would be prohibitive. Yeah.
Yeah. And the gore's there. The kills are there. It was a good watch.
Yeah, I really actively love like 2/3 of the storylines, and the other one I don't hate at all. It's just it's kind of silly.
I think me too.
Yeah,
you talk about the World War II one?
Yeah,
is the weaker one.
It's so fucking
I feel like
goofy,
that's the weaker one.
and like I think if I saw this in live action, I may have actually hated it. But like the suspension of disbelief is there, and I
might have liked it more.
They earned a lot of goodwill with how good the first two were. Yes. So I think they were smart to not. Yes, it's
if you started with the World War II one
and be like, oh, bro, I don't want to watch this. Like this doesn't make. It's like this doesn't make any goddamn sense because if we're thinking about like what predators are like technologically speaking.
Yeah.
And then the final like bonus act was kind of cool, but then there's some of that like how
it takes some elements of the third one that
they're kind of silly, but I mean I still really like this, and I think it's watching for something on Hulu, watching an animated thing where it's going to be a little bit sillier, it's going to be bigger than they could do normally, so I think it's a super enjoyable thing to watch, even if I think some of the stuff is dumb, but I still loved it. And so it's just like if you're going to be like, hey, I think this is kind of dumb, it's like, yeah, you're right, it is. Right. But you're still going to have. You're still, if you are up for having a good time, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, and it's refreshing. And it's so depressing to me that probably not a lot of people are going to see this. Not a lot of people are going to see this particular review, especially after a while. And these are the types of films that I think more people need to see, and it's got that smaller marketing budget. It's got that smaller niche appeal. But when you hit on one of these, it makes me so happy. Like Alien Romulus, and that's a hit. It's not going to make the $800 million that a Minecraft will, or something that's, basically poppy trash or something. That's more mainstream, but it's good when a franchise you love seems to be taken care of well and executed with good storytelling and competent talent. Because we've been hurt with, Tolkien and Rings of Power and Halo and Picard's, the new Star Trek, like all of these things, Star Wars, that are being handled poorly without the capable talent. And so when you see fucking Disney over here going off with all of the Aliens and Predator, when I first heard, I was like, well, fuck, now Disney's taking it over. They're not going to be as hard edge. They're going to fucking Disney-fy all this shit. And I was completely wrong. In fact, it's the opposite. They seem to really be good stewards of these licenses so far. So that's about as fucking glowing review as I can give you. So go out and fucking watch it. I'm going to be mad at you if you don't watch it because Predator and Aliens is some of my favorite licenses. Aliens, my favorite movie of all time, if you had to pinpoint one. So we'll go into more details in the spoilers discussion. I'm definitely doing a spoilers discussion on this because I want to get into all the nitty-gritty lore bits. But let's go ahead with final verdicts.
I'm going to give this one an 8. I really liked it. The animation's great. Good storytelling. Yeah, it was weaker. I honestly agree with you guys.
Do you agree with me and Alex?
The third one is the weakest, but I did like the dog fight. That was honestly the best. That's the best part. That was the weakest one, but 8.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that it's a great watch. You're gonna have a good time. Yeah, it's a little dumb, but every now and then a little dumb is fine. Yes. And like this, it totally fits with the animation thing. So go on and watch this one.
Yeah, of the 8 Predator films out there, I'd like to rank this in the spoiler section. It's definitely better than one of the ones where the Predators were in search of autism, and the other one where the Predators were going to have some kind of human-predator hybrid machine suit of armor bullshit, all sorts of weird shit, right? This one takes it serious, and it's good. I am also going with an 8 out of 10. Why is it not higher from a mega fan like me? Because there is some suspension of disbelief. You're pushing it a little bit. I probably would have given you more with a little bit higher animation frames. But other than those two things, I mean, I could totally see a 9. This is really begging a 9. Upon repeated watches, it could maybe get there. But like the boy said, in the third story is the weaker of the 3, but has good action moments. Yeah. And then the final act, it's like, well... Okay,
but,
only if we all agree that these 3 warriors here are the greatest warriors in all of Japan and in all of the Vikings, then I can maybe see. But if they're just, hey, you did that, and okay, then I don't know. I don't know if I've said too much. I apologize.
If there had been a Crusader instead of the World War II thing, and I think I would have enjoyed it.
Then maybe 9, 10 territory.
Yeah, because the only time I'm like, oh,
dude, a Crusader would be awesome.
Right?
Yeah, because then you get to then they could easily change some of the ending stuff. But I get what they wanted to
maybe
do.
Maybe it was a little
the
close
escape.
to the sword with the samurai. But yeah, I get it. Maybe a pirate. Joe would have appreciated pirates. In fact, there is an Easter egg. We'll talk about it. And the spoilers. Maybe that guy didn't make it, or maybe he's, I don't know. Maybe we'll see in the future they want to do more Killer of Killers. It seems like it, so we'll get there. So 8 out of 10, very solid recommendation. Badass seal of approval. Go out and check it out, and then hang out with us in the spoilers if you've already seen it. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So let's get in okay, so we got a Viking, we got a samurai, we got World War II fighter pilot, Wildcat pilot. And I'm happy this project exists. I don't know how it got greenlit, because... But I guess I do. I'm just happy it exists. So the first story is called The Shield. And this is in the past, obviously, with Vikings. Now, you have this badass Viking chick, and she is a shield maiden, and she's leading her thing. Don't fucking come at me with historical accuracy and whether this chick can actually do these things. Just shut the fuck up.
Alien.
Right, but I can already hear some of those idiots just talking about like this. Like, man, do you just not like any stories that has nothing but just one stereotypical person in a stereotypical role? Whatever. But does she buy it? Does she earn it? Yes, I feel like she buys it. I feel like she earns it. And so she's got a son, and she basically, before a battle with a local jarl, she says, if I should fall tonight, avenge me. And we see later on that her father had died by this particular jarl, and he had told his daughter, avenge me, as he died. And it was tragic because the jarl forces her to kill her own father, or he's going to kill her. So it's got that good storytelling, got that good flashback scene. Her name is Ursa, and she's searching for Zoran or whatever. And she's got her son with her. They managed to get this unarmed guy. He's unarmed. They're asking, where is your leader? Because they've, You know, there's a cool sequence where all these fire arrows get shot off, and then they have a big battle sequence. And you see the destruction afterwards. So she's asking, where the hell is the leader? And then she allows her son to get the killing blow. But the priest makes a good point as he's dying. He's begging for his life. If you kill me, then, that's dishonorable, and you're not going to get to Valhalla, et cetera, et cetera. He's probably also, it's usually you have to die with a sword in your hand. So maybe he was pleading, give me a sword so that I can also die and go to Valhalla.
Give him a pocket knife.
Give him a pocket knife. So I didn't understand why. Just give him a sword. Let your son fight him fair and square.
He
But
lost.
Son didn't want to do it. And the mother does it for him in order to save her son that thing. But does that mean she'll never go to Valhalla?
I don't think she cares.
I don't think she gives a fuck.
She just wants to find the father.
She does still believe in the old ways, though. But, okay, just then a Predator ship flies overhead. So a Predator ship, cloaked, has been monitoring these Vikings battling each other locally. And the Predator's using heat vision to kind of watch from overhead while cloaked. And eventually, we get this great action sequence. It's like, what's the plan? And she's like, I'm going to knock on the front door. I'm just going through the front door. So she gets 2 shields, and these shields are cut, so they've got, serrated edges. And she just cuts this first dude head off. And you're like, okay, Disney, or okay, Hulu. We watch it on Hulu, but some people are going to watch it on Disney. Head goes flying. Battle sequence. Just then, the choppiness was always there for me, but then when the choppiness is kind of bad in this particular sequence.
They just want you to admire.
Gory, bloody.
I mean, some guy gets burned to death.
To admire the animation.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with Arcane, there's so much detail in every shot, so it really does feel like you can pause at any moment and it work. Here, you can pause at certain moments. It's not as visually appealing as Arcane. But anyways, eventually she cuts a fucking path through these people, gets to the Jarl, who is sitting in his chambers, and they all go in. It's her and her elite guard along with her son. And what happens?
He starts talking shit. He's like, look, you're actually a coward. I'm like, it's funny that you're here. I made you kill your father, and there isn't a single person with a spine or a set of balls that wouldn't have.
I didn't buy this guy for a minute. I'm like, this bitch just kill your whole fucking force. You just talking out your ass.
I mean, it's just like he's definitely getting to her, and she panics. She freezes, and then like you can tell that he's like getting at her, and it's to the point where her son is the one that actually cuts his head off because she was kind of like frozen in panic because she was doubting at that last possible second.
So thankfully her son is not just a little coward piece of shit, not able to kill people. It's just that, he gets... So there's nice little character moments where he steps up for his mom and he does the thing and he kills it. But just then... he gets hit with some kind of bubble wave, concussion wave, and he's knocked the fuck out. And these Vikings are like, what the fuck? And they're looking around, and just then the cloak reveals itself to be the biggest fucking predator we have ever seen. Except for if you've seen, what was it, Predator? The Predator? I think it was the Shane Black Predator where there's a huge predator, right? Mm-hmm. So we've seen one before, but this predator is massive. He's got one arm, and in place of his arm, he's got a shockwave weapon where he basically just cranks it, and then he can fire a shockwave, and this predator, unique. I like the way he looks. I like his armor, and this predator is like honorable. He's not using. He uses one weapon, right? So he doesn't have shoulder cannons and all these other bits and pieces and laser rifles. And no, he is. Even though it's a little unfair because this motherfucker is already big as shit. So he
uppercutted one guy into the fucking wooden beam.
And it hit so hard. It hit that beam so hard that probably his spine and skeleton got him stuck on the
one of my favorite ones. One of my favorite ones, he grabs the guy by the head, he punches him, and he's still holding on to the fucking head.
The body explodes away, but the head's still there.
And he's like,
holy shit.
Maybe this could make for a good trophy. But it looks like I broke some of the spine. Maybe I'll find another
He kills everybody so fast. Like, everybody. So fast. And the only people that are alive at this point is Ursa, and her son's kind of unconscious. The beam kind of fell on him. and she gets punched out of a window.
Yeah.
He goes to do the rocket punch, and she holds up her shield and just gets launched out it.
So she first blocks the shield with her shield, both of her shields. Her shield shatters. One of them still intact. She falls out. She had like a second general in charge of command. He gets fucking pasted like nothing. And eventually she falls out, and this building is starting to come down around them. She slides and falls off a cliff, but luckily the icicle saved her. Well, not only fucking her over, but also saving her, because it knocks her down, but then it also breaks the ice just as she falls into the water. So she's underwater. She's holding her breath. Meanwhile, the predator comes down there looking for her, and he just so happens to pick the same spot that she's at. So I thought he was there and he could see her. And for a moment there, I'm like, the predator, it would be cool if the predator, broke the ice and let her get up, because it's like, hey, I'm not done. Yeah. You actually surprised me back there. But that's not what happens. They show his vision. They show that his mask is malfunctioning, so he can't quite pinpoint her, doesn't know where she's at. So he gets up and continues to walk off, takes his mask off, and is raw now and is ready to move on. But she comes up out of the ice, and then we get it.
She grabs an anchor and she jumps off the top rope of, like, there's a bunch of, it's like a ship graveyard area. So she grabs a ship's anchor and then she jumps off.
Love the way she fights. And then she's like a fucking wrestler.
Yeah, and then she just slams into him and they both end up underwater. And so there's this anchor and a chain and she's trying to wrap him up in it. And there's a big fight underwater, but the anchor lands and it's sharp. Like there's a really sharp spike behind the predator now, and so she's positioning herself directly in front of him, and she's trying to bait out a punch. And so eventually he charges his little thing, he baits out a punch, and she pulls up the shield just at the right time, and the force knocks the predator and just it.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I would like to talk about. And she is very smart. Love the way she fights. At one point, his guy's just imposing. He's like 4-5 times her size. Yeah. But she uses that to her advantage in the ice. She breaks the ice when they're about to meet. And so they both go under. I'm like, perfect. And she got the anchor wrapped around his thing, so he's going to drown. That happens. The one thing that I'm like, what? Is she blocks with her single shield when the shot goes off, and it doesn't affect her shield. When previously it was shown that a shot from that breaks her shield immediately. Now maybe you can say that because water is softening the blow a bit. I'll give it to you. I just wanted to hear other people say.
Well, it's like when gunshots underwater don't really. So it's like it lessens the force significantly, and it's like. Then it's just enough to get him to be impaled and kind of launch her back a little.
And launch her back. So then she goes up out of the water and she finds her son. She finds her son and he is dying in her arms. Initially, she thinks he's okay and she's very happy, but then he's dying in her arms. Did you get the monster? And he says, get revenge for me. Or no, he doesn't say that. He just says, did you get the monster? And it fades into her with a collar around her neck. Her son fades from her arms. And then it shows her with another prisoner as it transitions to that prisoner's story. And I'll let one of y'all take over because I need a cough.
Yeah, this one goes into the samurai one, but I was kind of confused because I was like, wait, are we going into time traveling? I thought he was going back in time or something.
They didn't kind of explain how this happens. They do at the end.
I was going to be very upset.
Yeah, there's a local shogun, and he's got two sons, and he's pitting them against each other. And the sons have a really strong bond, and they play together all the time. But he puts actual katanas in their hands and says, duel it out. Like, you guys have to figure out who's going to replace me. And initially, one brother puts the sword down. He's like, I'm not going to, there's no dialogue here, but he's like, he's not going to fight his brother.
I like how they didn't do dialogue in this one.
Yeah. And the other one looks like he's not going to fight. And then kind of out of nowhere, he pulls the katana up and attacks him full force, gives him a big gash down the cheek. Mm-hmm. And that guy loses, and he's kind of thrown out of the household. He's just kind of...
Even though he's the one that didn't want to cause conflict, he's like, you know what? You have it. But the father doesn't look like he likes that. He's like, well, then, maybe nobody gets the helmet. Yeah. I'll continue. And then one boy's like, no, yeah. He, fights him when his guard is completely down. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So it was a good fight. Now it kind of fast forward. This is the good fight. As
20 years later.
20 years later, you got this ninja that's infiltrated. So the bells are tolling, meaning the father has passed away. Yeah. The son, who's an asshole, is about to maybe take over. The son who is exiled or left on his own volition comes back. It turns out he is a badass. He has learned how to be a ninja and basically infiltrates the thing with the cool little log that comes over when a guy's pissing, looking at the log.
I thought he was going to shoot him in the pee-pee.
And he, boop, yeah, gets him. And it's so fun. This is when I was like, man, this is fun. The Predator's just watching this the whole time. He's just like hanging out, looking at all the Japanese warriors and maybe just kind of looking for somebody to fight. And he finds this person. He's fascinated with them because this ninja is then crawling up the side, and it's shown right there that, you know, the Predator's already
just
hanging and crawling as well. And I just like that play of how they're kind of fascinated with their targets, you know. But anyways, as he gets to the top, he fires off some red smoke, allows him to get in the business here with his brother, and
after killing like 10 dudes, like mercilessly just murdering his brother's guards.
Yeah, and the fight, it's a really good fight, and they fight, and the Predator is actually goes into this room with them, and he's in the ramparts, but the fight is so vicious that a few times they almost hit the Predator. The Predator's kind of like just like, God damn, yo, right? But anyways, as the brother gets the upper hand, the good brother, the brother that the ninja brother, he stops before he kills his evil brother. Not really evil, but asshole brother. And the asshole brother ends up on the rampart where it had been cut before.
His dad had hit it with the katana.
And that caused it to break. So his brother falls. But later we know that there's water down there, so we would have slammed into the water. Meanwhile, this is when the Predator decides. So the brother is like, I like this emotional moment where it's like, I won, but, you know, there's this calm, you know, and all the weapons are dangling, and there's the sound of the weapons dangling and the wind blowing, and the brother starting to tear up that, you know, he's gone far, and at this point he thinks he might have killed his brother.
I don't think he wanted to kill his brother the whole, like, because he marks him on the face exactly the way that he had been marked, and stops, and so his brother almost accidentally at this point we think died.
Yeah, and so it's at this point that the skinny Predator decides to reveal himself, and he comes through one of those paper walls where their father is painted on there, and kind of wakes him up, and they have a fight, and yeah, it's brutal, and he uses his brother's guards as kind of a distraction and his shield, and the Predator's just like fucking
tearing
through these people, yeah.
This Predator loves weapons, and he cheats. He don't give a fuck. He's got, not cheats, but he's got weapons.
He's cheating. He's got fucking rockets. Right. He's fucking cheating.
He's got fucking whips, and he's got a spear that also comes into a tri-shape that cuts people in half. And he kind of was cheating because I'd not seen it before. I think I might have seen it before. The Predator is fighting with his cloak on. This motherfucker turns his cloak on. And then he continues to fight him like, that's not fair! That's not fair! I thought you're honorable. And I think it's been shown, I think in the first Predator, that, you know, he'll fire the shoulder cannon while he's hidden. I guess it just depends on how the Predator feels. If he doesn't respect you, then he's not going to give you the battle, right? And maybe if you do impress him and respect him, then he'll come off his cloak, and it's like,
or if you impress him too much, he'll turn it back on.
Oh, shit.
This guy's pretty fucking good.
Yes. But see, that's the kind of stuff that deepens the Predator lore, and I like it.
Yeah, I like it when he's on the rooftop. He's being chased by him. He's in his cloak. He throws the smoke. You can kind of see. Then he throws his kunai.
What I wouldn't give to actually get a Little Joe comedy moment like that in the future. One of the Predators doing the thing, and then when he sees something, he's like,
turn it off.
Because ultimately
coming.
they
He's
are.
coming.
Yes, they are raised in a warrior culture, but sometimes the predators.
There's got to be
in
one
lore, they've shown
outcast.
that they've shown that there are outcasts, that people they get in trouble.
Fucking inept as shit.
Yes.
So that is totally possible in the Predator
Shooting
universe.
a grenade.
Anyway,
God.
anyway, so we get another really cool fight here,
Yeah.
and eventually he is knocked out of the palace, but he takes a tumble. Or no, he's actually running on the rooftops, and he's giving chase the Predator while cloaked. And so the ninja uses the smoke to hide what he's about to do. He takes a leap, or puts smoke,
so cool.
leap, and then turns around and throws 2 kunais. And it fucks the Predator's vision, but then he can't control his descent because he focused on throwing the kunais. So he bursts through a building, stops a little bit of his fall, and then he slams into the water. And he thinks that he's got maybe the Predator beat, or the chase has stopped, or he comes out of the water. And just then he's attacked by his brother. And it's like, God damn it. So we got to finish this battle. And his brother and him are about to have this fight. But then the Predator shows up and they work together as brother side by side. I love this moment, how they decide, you know, even though they have a beef, that they need to work alongside. So what happens?
Let's kill this alien first. So they like tag teaming him. And one of my favorite scenes is, again, he's cheating using fucking rockets. He's just shooting off these rockets.
These little floating circles that explode.
Yeah, the little grenades.
And they can be thrown really fast.
And so he had been using this kind of like grapple hook thing a bunch of times. And so when he's fighting the ninja brother, the ninja's able to kind of like wrestle away one of these grenades. And then he baits the Predator into kind of shooting him with the grapple hook. And then he didn't realize.
It on the
and
end.
he sticks it on the end. And so when it retracts all the way, it blows up and slams him into the tree. And there's a giant circle of green blood.
Yeah, I love how it's cloaked, but in there, so you can't see him.
He'd be an asshole
Clearly, you
again.
think
Well, yeah, because
they
it made
think
for
he's
the
dead.
next scene. Because like I thought the brother's still gonna fight him, so they draw
The
their
brother's
swords.
still gonna fight
They
him.
still cross, but
They were about to
yeah,
fight,
they
Joe.
start charging at each other. They slice
But
through.
it was a ruse.
Yes.
No, they noticed. So they were probably going to fight each other until a leaf is dropping. A leaf lands.
Oh, I thought they were trying to finish him off.
I
thought it was they were going to finish him off. They were just
I think that they were
trying
going
to
to
trick
go
the
against
audience.
each other again because this man don't stop. But once but it could go that way too, sure.
Yeah.
And then the brother's like, okay, but yes, at that moment when they realize that the leaf, this motherfucker's still here, he might actually be getting up because I think the height of the leaf, and then if you looked at it, was slowly outside of the imprint. That guy's still alive. So when they charge each other, they slice that space together, and green blood comes down from their swords.
He uncloaks and he falls into 3 different pieces. And
Fucking sweet.
And then
And
it is over.
I love that badass moment. The samurai just kind of
I like it when
he
their
throws his
on
blood
you.
off, and the ninja just wipes it.
Yeah. Perfect. Unfortunately, the brother has taken too much damage during his fight with his ninja brother and this fucking Predator, that he succumbs to his wounds, and he's sitting, and they speak for the first time. I like when it's poignant. If you're gonna speak, have some good lines
great.
here. And what were the lines?
He's like they're like kneeling, watching the sunset together. They look up. He's like, these leaves grow together, but they fall alone.
No, Joe, come on.
But you're not alone. And
You're
then,
not alone,
Yeah,
brother.
it's like you're not alone.
And
Obviously,
I'm here with
It was
you.
a good
And so
moment.
He dies with his.
It was a great moment.
But then he
kind of
comes to on the ship, and he's there with the Viking lady.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it shows that this is the other person that we saw with the collar on. And, it could have, like I said, it could have worked as 3 different stories. But what I like was that they started to tie them all together here at the end. But before they do that, we go to the third story, which is in Florida, 1941. And this is the weaker one. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it just stretches disbelief. While as the other ones, there's not a moment where I'm like, well, why did he do that? Or that was kind of dumb. Here, there was a few more that you could pick out. So we'll go through this one. Basically, Torres, his son, gets drafted for the war. After talking with his father, he's like, you need to be able to fix engines, and he's not a very good mechanic, but then he sees his father has the touch. So you have to kind of allow for these fantasy elements. The father just breathes, and then he can kind of start a car that is broken.
Yeah, pretty much.
Obviously, the father worked on it a little bit, and then he starts it, but they do imply that there's some kind of mysticism or something here that the Hispanics just say, we fix everything.
Mm-hmm.
You are just an aberration, and you break everything.
I'm the outcast of the predator.
The outcast of the
What's wrong with
Hispanics.
it? I have no fucking idea.
Just put Joe near one of those predator ships. We're good. It's EMP. But anyways, so he's good with engines. Nope, not good with engines, because then it's shown as he's over here, working on this
But he really wants to be a
plane.
pilot,
He
though.
wants to be a pilot. He's like, all right, if you can fix this plane, let's see what you got. Maybe I'll make you be a pilot. He doesn't fix it. He's like, fuck, wait, give me a little more time. He's like, look, this is not fair. I'm not a mechanic. I'm a pilot. And just then, we get some warning signs, sirens. We go up top, and you see some of the American pilots have crash landed, and there's a big old fucking spear lodged in one of the planes. And so they're like, what the fuck is going
the guy's
on?
yelling, there's hooks. There's just hooks.
Hooks in the sky.
It's like, I've never seen anything like it.
And so basically they've been attacked, and the Texas Aces take to the sky. So I'm like, okay, cool. What is this? The Houston, what ship are they on? But these are all the Texas Aces that go into the sky to figure out what the hell happened. Meanwhile, our mechanic Torres, it takes time to mess with alien technology. He's trying to poke at it, trying to get it to go. And I think it's heat that makes it activate, or something.
Yeah, he hits it with
activate.
a torch, and then like a random spike comes out of it, and it's trying to go towards the torch. And he's like, oh, they see heat.
Yeah, and so it puts a spike right through the fucking engine, and then it hauls the engine away, and he's like, shit. Not only did he cause a big old fucking hole puncture in the Enterprise or whichever aircraft carrier that was, he also makes note of what it does. Meanwhile, he's like, somebody's got to warn them. This is not, they're not fighting Japanese in the fucking sky. Or in this instance, I don't think it's Japanese. I think it was Italians.
They're in the North Atlantic.
Yeah, well, who exactly were they fighting? Had to have been maybe. Wait. At first they were Japanese, and then they're Italians.
I don't think they were
They
Japanese.
weren't,
Or
'cause he was flying.
No,
he
they
was
weren't
flying
Zeros,
through.
were they?
I forget what it was.
Okay,
but-
so they're either Germans in North African uniforms or they're Italians, whatever. It doesn't matter. But so he goes up in his own plane to try to warn them. It
barely works.
Because they say, hey, the radio's not working. So there's just a few more weak logic here and there of the three.
He had the touch.
But yeah, so then the Predators have heat vision, right? But here's the problem. The Predators don't only have heat vision. And that's what's kind of implied here, that he's looking and he's seeing the heat vision. He doesn't fucking then press a button, which goes to a different vision. They've got thermal, they've got night, they've got. Have you played the video games?
Well,
apparently they haven't played the
when
video
you turn
games.
your
They think
car
it's
off, it doesn't get cold immediately.
That's also another.
and
thing.
like
Yes.
it's just
I was like, I don't think that's okay. Whatever.
So,
Whatever.
but we'll allow it
'Cause it was
big
cool.
old dogfight in the air with the Texas Aces getting their fucking asses kicked.
there's no honorable predators. Like this guy is
The
close
first
murdering.
Predator was kind of honorable.
This
Yeah.
one was not.
This one
is
was
just
an asshole.
Yeah, and it's not even fucking close. And he's just mass murdering all of these people.
Yeah, he launches
It's not
that missile to go to the
his
propeller.
excuse is that these are equipped
no
with
excuse.
weapons. They are driving weapons of war.
They're
so
throwing, like,
I will
sticks.
drive my weapon of war
They're
against
throwing
your weapon
sticks
of
at him.
I know. That's fucked up, Predator. When you get out of your ship and fight these motherfuckers.
Yeah, this is kind of why, like, if we had done like Aztec Warrior, some sort of Crusader,
I would have liked that more.
Like, we could have done all sorts of cool stuff. But he figures out, and he's like, "Look, it's his mentor guy, the captain, and him are the last two ones." And he's like, "We need to gain altitude, cool our engines off, and then we'll cut the engines, and we'll pretty much stall out." And so they're expecting their plane engines to immediately cool off, and the captain realizes that they're not going to make it in time, so he turns his engine back on to.
But before that, let me get this one, because this is another thing that I'm like, really, this is stretching logic. The motherfucker has an engine fire, and he decides to pull a motherfucking Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So motherfucker gets out of his plane while it's in the air. I'm like, we're doing a Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And he tries to dislodge the fucking tank. And it's just wacky. He kicks a rudder in order for it to right itself. I'm like, come on, man. And this is a little much. And the other, his mentor is like, what are you doing? It's like, this is, come on. But eventually it does kick it enough to where it falls off the plane, and just then it can hit the fucking Predator ship and momentarily piss him off even more. Yeah. And then we get to the point where, again, unnecessary. I don't feel like his mentor needed to sacrifice
No, there was nothing
himself.
in it. Yeah.
No.
Why did he sacrifice himself? What's his name? Andy?
They wanted that moment, but it wasn't really
But it doesn't feel earned.
Exactly.
I wrote here, why did Andy kill himself? Or Bandy? Whatever his fucking name was. Ugh. All right, but he uses the ship.
At least fly your plane into the Predator if you're going to go
right,
out
that's
and
what
do
I thought
nothing.
He was gonna do.
I thought we were going to do something cool. And he just blows up. He just turns his engine on, immediately becomes
and the
visible.
Predator sees him and fucks him up.
And blows him up and accomplishes absolutely nothing.
It might have given him 3 more seconds, but that's not enough. Because he's already on the guy's tail, or he's already, I guess the Predator is like, I blew one of them up, so I'm going to leave them both alone. No, he knows there's 2 out there, so whatever. Anyways.
Just because he lost the heat signal, like he still sees the aircraft flying.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's like, what? He sees it.
And as I said, he could simply press a button and change his vision
like
into other visions.
Use the fucking net.
They even have a red one like the Nintendo fucking
use the net that he
Boy.
did. That was a badass
Virtual
net.
Boy, yeah.
Virtual Boy vision. Anyways.
Car sick.
That fucked my eyes up. Anyways, that's what did it. But so he uses his plane without engine. And I like this moment. I love the sound design here. It's it's just kind of gliding along, and he's trying to use his glider at this point to line up a shot, because he did notice that the Predator was trying to protect his engine fuselage and engines, because if you put some fucking kinetic weapons in that, it's gonna hurt it no matter what kind of technology you have. It's an exhaust port. So he manages to line up a shot and fuck it up. And meanwhile, he continues the chase, and he takes him to the city where we have some anti-air guns that are shooting at this Predator ship while he is doing ridiculous maneuvers. Wildcats are not...
He turned on a fucking dime.
They're notoriously not very good planes.
They're not that great planes. In fact, they were getting their asses kicked again. The Zeros were fucking these planes up in World War II, but whatever. And it's unbalanced because one of the fuselage is missing, but he's inverted and flying perfectly. I'm like, damn, man, this is fucking Poe over here in Star Wars.
Yeah, so a bunch of French dudes are trying to shoot him with anti-air guns, and then they fly over the harbor, and that's where there's this giant... there's carriers and destroyers and everything just firing at each other.
Holy shit, let's fucking hit that thing.
Yeah, and so then he leads them in there, and he's like, I've never been so happy to see the enemy, and then you see all of these anti-air, all the flak.
And again, this battle doesn't make sense. This is not the way navies engage each other, but whatever. We're going to allow it. They're at danger close range, firing machine guns at each other.
There's a dude throwing grenades from ship to ship. It's like, I can hit you.
and deck guns now and then, and I'm like, yeah, but what battle is this supposed to be? Are these Americans, or these British fighting Germans, or fighting Italians? I don't know. It's indistinct. So he takes him through the chaos of there. Yeah. The flak is hitting the Predator ship, kind of fucking it up. But it's intended to show the Predator's just like, fuck this piece of shit plane. I'm going to go. I don't care about anything. I just want to take this guy down. Meanwhile, there probably should have been more shots of humans like, what the fuck?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Like, all the deck guns and everything probably would have stopped firing because they're like, what
Like the first
fuck
people
is
that
this?
come into
that
the
ours?
scene, they're shooting, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?"
But no, they just kind of ignore it. And then
secret
at one point, a
pageant.
deck gun decides to turn to shoot the fucking
Torres.
plane to Torres. Or they're implying maybe the deck gun was just acquiring another shot at a ship off in the distance, and Torres is using
they
it
were
in
gonna
order
shoot
to
Torres.
bait.
Yeah.
No,
They were gonna shoot
You-
Torres. That's what it was.
Because
he was
you
waiting
think
for it.
so?
Yeah,
he
because
was waiting
Torres is
for
going
it.
right for it,
Okay.
and then at the last second
Yes.
he gets out of the way.
Okay, well that's not how deck guns
He
work.
was looking.
Uh-huh.
He was waiting for it to get lined up. It's
Right.
like, okay, now.
Well, I think what he was waiting for is to make sure the Predator was behind him before the deck
Oh, he
guns
knew he was
fired.
behind
Yeah.
him.
And then he left, and then boom, the deck guns hit the fucking Predator ship and tear
Which
it
I
to
think should have
pieces.
sank.
Yeah, and then it just goes underwater, and then you see, and you're like, oh, maybe it crashed in the water, everything's fine. It's like, no, the thing's also a submarine.
And
then
it comes up
But
over.
it was all torn up. The
Thank
front,
you.
The front
I was like, wait a
open.
minute. So one shot, it's like the guy, his cockpit is wrecked, but when it comes up out of the water, they showed that shot previously, and then this shot, and it's
Open.
It's an open
It
air
would've
thing,
sank.
but it might be a shield. There might be like a
Force
fucking
fields.
force field Star Trek shield
Well, can't they
hollow thing.
Just animate
They should have
just
done
that,
something
'cause
on that.
I was
'cause it
like, wait a minute.
Yeah, wait a minute. And then but it's not over, and he's like, oh shit, and he's like, okay. And then they have to do the stupid thing.
flashback.
This is weaker writing. I don't know what to call it. It's contrived or tropey or I don't know. They're doing a callback to the beginning of the story where his father's like, well, you flooded the engine. And he's like, oh, thanks, Dad. I'll flood the engine.
And
I'm like, no. Why are you connecting things that don't really connect? This is forced.
well, also, what does it do when you're flooding the engine?
What are you
because
talking about?
what he knows is
It
going to
makes it
happen
a
is
bigger bomb.
he knows that the Predator's about to shoot a hook, and the hook
Thank you, Joe.
the hook always shoots the hook into the engine block and then pulls it and rips it out. So he's like, if I put 4 tablespoons more gas in this engine than it can handle,
It's a bigger.
and then it's gonna go
poof.
and then but he's also like standing on the wing, he's surfing his airplane again, and he puts on a parachute,
That's
and
too
he's
much.
waiting, and then the Predator shoots the engine block, but just then he lets the parachute go, and the parachute
With the plane.
throws the engine back into the Predator ship.
In
Well,
his
the
face.
parachute with the plane falls out, and then but luckily the plane doesn't rip his body in half. He gently lets go of the
Yeah.
plane. The plane rips up, but the
Came in
thing
like a
swings around.
wrecking ball.
And I will say, I was like, no, but I was like, yes, because it was cool as fuck when it just swung around and hit himself. I was like, stop hitting yourself, it was fucking sweet.
But yeah, the Predator's like,
Slams
no.
No, and the fucking engine comes in, blows
And
his
it
shit up.
was so cool because you had all that
And I
extra
will
gas in there.
admit,
Yeah.
shut up. That's so stupid.
But good thing he had that
And
force
you're
field,
right.
right?
And the end of
That the
force
water
field.
didn't come in
The
through?
water didn't come through. I will admit it was a cool way to blow up the Predator
was.
ship.
Yes.
It
But
blows into
that's
pieces,
why
and
it's like,
that's why
okay.
you forgive it.
This I actually didn't have as much of a problem with as all of this guy's story in the next act. Like
You
this
had
is
more of
okay.
a problem
I have
in the
way
next
more
act.
problem with him being able to
Yeah.
fly a spaceship and sort of get eaten
I
alive.
can understand that, but I might have more problem with this because we'll get to
Yeah,
it.
well,
So
yeah.
then we come but this story doesn't end instantly. He survives. He's in his mechanic shop. And he hears some shit going on outside. He walks outside. A UFO has shown up, but this one's a Predator UFO, and it's a big transport ship, and it just shines a light on him, and it obviously kidnaps him.
And now
takes
we
off.
find out where the crop circles come from.
There you
Predators.
go.
Predators,
So predators
yeah.
have been
It's
the
not
ones
aliens.
That is not
It is not
aliens.
aliens.
It's predators.
It's predators.
That have been, and the predators are very upset that aliens have been taking their credit.
That's our job.
That's our crop circles because their engines, as they do the VTOL mode, I'm like, no, you didn't need to do that. But
Yeah.
You
I like the
didn't.
Easter egg, but do a different Easter
Also,
egg.
the entire world knows that predators and aliens exist
Yes.
because of all
yes,
the
they do.
yeah.
They've been
So
shown.
it's a much larger ship. It leaves the crop circles, and it was the predators that have been doing that.
But you wouldn't
Anyways,
believe
it
them.
takes off, and here we have the final act. Basically, he wakes up in some chambers, and he's got the other two there, which is the samurai and the Viking. And at first, you're like,
Wait
wait a minute. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. This is a butt, a big butt. how do they travel through time? And I'm like, this is such a big problem to open for just this story. Don't say that the Predators have technology that allow them to travel through time. They don't. And I'm glad that they don't initially explain it. They save it for later.
Yeah.
And what they say for
Arcell's
later
going to be mad.
Yeah, is cryogenic technology. So what they really did is they did capture the samurai and the Viking long ago, freeze them in cryogenic technology, and warm them up for this particular moment. Let's just say it was the birthday of the Predator leader, because what happens?
They take him into the arena. These are the killer of killers. So these people have to fight to the death to fight the Mega Ultra Predator.
Mega Ultra Predator with the spikes on his back. He wears a spiked cape that's cool as fuck.
And they have little collars on. Yeah, they have collars on. It's like, if you don't do it, I'm going to blow you up.
He makes a point to show them that here's a fucking prisoner predator that had probably done the fucking and he's in trouble. Him, So they got the fucking neck thing on him. He blows it up, and they're like, "Oh shit, we got bombs on our necks. How do we get out of this?
The Predators have the technology to have those Google translators on all those.
They do. They got some good technology. I appreciate that. And they are able to speak English so that they can hear and understand each other.
Japanese.
However, it doesn't translate for each other. So as these three are pushed out, they're like, y'all fight each other for the right to fight me. Mm-hmm. And of course, our Viking chick, she's all about battle, and she thinks, hey, the only way I get into Valhalla to see my son is dying in battle. I'm for this. So she starts fighting while the Japanese dude's like, no, we need to stay. I beat one of these before, but only by working together. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Torres is like, yeah, I see a ship and I could fly us out there.
I can fly that ship. Really, Torres? Yeah. You can fly that ship?
Torres is the
goddamn
fuck off, Torres.
Deus Ex Machina,
I can fly anything. They've done that in movies.
Now, here's where I'll defend a little bit. The Predator technology seems very fucking human. So it's got a fucking throttle, and it's shown that way before. However, I do agree with you, because all the writing there, you could press the wrong button and that's it. You're dead. Yeah. You know, sure, the controls are intuitive, but the writing and the buttons, I don't know if
He also gets swallowed by a monster and is totally fine.
Yeah, that's another thing that happens. They unleash a monster.
They're not fighting each other, and he's like,
Ursa,
oh, you won't fight each other? Well, fucking release the monster.
Yeah, so we get a great fucking scene here. Ursa's fighting, the samurai's fighting. They start working together to take out this massive fucking predator creature that's on their planet. And it's another great act of awesome fighting.
With a little bit of comedy in there, because it's like, we gave you some weapons from your time. They gave him the axe, the katana, and then for 1941, they gave him a fucking musket.
Pirate pistol, and it's the musket that we see at the end of Predator 2 that Danny Glover was given. Yeah. And he's like, what the fuck?
What am I supposed to do with this?
No, this is not even from my era, he said. Where's my Tommy gun? I could do this if you give me a Tommy gun. But then he's like, he uses it, and it doesn't even fire.
So you're telling me this guy thinks he could fly a fucking alien ship, but he doesn't know how to load a goddamn pistol?
So I thought initially that was the Predator's fault. And they were like, oh, yeah, just give him the pistol. But they didn't understand that you need black powder, you need this and that. So I was, hilarious. The Predators are like, yeah, here's your weapon. It's your weapon, right? We don't know how it works. But they did know how it works, because they had, later on, you see a little ceremonial area where he could put the balls and he could put the black powder, and he's like, fuck, I'm trying to figure this out. I've never used this. So y'all finish this one off.
Yeah, so they release the monster. He gets swallowed pretty much right away. So it swallows him whole. He's totally fine. And then so this is what forces the samurai and the Viking to work together. They eventually cut it up a little bit.
Didn't that monster swallow somebody else? Wouldn't that guy still be alive?
That guy, you get to see his hand get ripped, and then it swallows, and then so that's how the guy ends up with...
The teeth hit him before he went into the mouth.
He's pushing all the buttons on the arm, and none of them are the self-destruct ones. And so...
you need this...
I think you have to start laughing, yeah.
Stop it.
And so then he eventually pulls the knife out, and he starts to stab the beast from the inside.
Yes.
The Viking and the samurai slice its throat up, and then it dies. And then the main predator guy's like, "Get it out of here!" And so you have like a little bulldozer to kind of push it out.
I like that.
I like their tech, man. Their tech is all around this arena.
I was like, oh shit, they got bikers. I was like, no,
and we
this
do
is
get
the
a little
cleanup
lore.
crew.
We get to see their society. We get to see a big arena, and he has bodyguards, and he's the big head honcho. And you don't really see the rest of the predators. You see some of their eyes and stuff, and they just enjoy the battle. And as people are fighting, they're enjoying themselves, and they respect, power and prowess is basically.
Torres rips himself out of the beast off screen, and then he's able to figure out how to pilot.
Right, because that little tractor pushes him into the area that opens and closes. Mm-hmm. And this one, again, they're stretching it a little bit at the last second while they're fighting the main predator? No, it's because they're still on the lower level.
They're running up. They're about to start running up.
Because
and
the callers, the main predator's like, all right, fuck you, I'm gonna blow y'all all up, which I think would not actually work in this particular culture. All the other predators would probably be pissed at this main predator if he just blew them up while they're running towards to fight. Him, yeah. So I thought that was interesting. But eventually Torres, miraculously off screen, not only did he escape,
and then he helps them.
Not only did he somehow disable these predators that were using the tractor to get him in there, but also finds a way to disable the bomb.
He finds the right combination of buttons that he can't read to get rid of these things, and it's just like it's thing after thing after thing, and it's like
It needed a script doctor for a few of these things. Yeah. And there might have been a cool way to explain it. Maybe I love those shots where the camera lens is in one area and something is in focus, and then the iris goes and then something else is in focus. So they could have done that where they're captured, and before they get shoved out, he's looking at the guy, he's looking at a specific button combination, and they could have used that effect zoom. See, I fixed it for just something like that. Could explain some of these, or at least help soften the blow. But at this point, they're like, we're going to get this shit in there. So they just kind of skip some of that
Torres
stuff.
Is the answer to everything. Yep. And then so he takes them, and he drives up this giant skull where the big boss is, and they're on the tractor. And then the two people that can fight start fighting him, and then Torres gets into the ship, and he's going to get it prepped so they can fly away.
Meanwhile, this big head honcho predator, I expected more from this guy. He's getting his ass beat by the Viking chick working with the samurai.
He said, I can only take one.
Yeah.
I will fight one
of you. Hey, wait. Okay, and so I will allow another suspension of disbelief, saying she's the best Viking warrior of all of humanity. He's the best samurai of all of humanity, and they are working together to fight the best predator of all of predators. It's Yautja, I think. I forget how to pronounce the actual predator race, but it's something like that.
But we watched a predator who's not the best predator in all of Predator-dom destroy like 9 Vikings in 3 seconds.
Right.
And so it's like
this guy is unable to handle.
And so it's like I was expecting a little bit more. I would like to see something kind of cool.
It could have been that I'll take off all my cool shit and then I'll just go naked to impress my bros, and then maybe it works a little better.
That never works out. I've done it before.
Get naked in front of all your bros.
I knew you were thinking something. I could see your eyes.
Impress my bros.
Go
no
naked.
one was impressed.
Go naked and fight other people. Got it.
No one fights a naked guy.
Worked.
No one fights a naked guy.
Meanwhile, so Torres gets in the ship. It flies off, but last minute, and then he says, "Get in the ship," and they understand him, and they run in the ship. And just as they're flying off, the predators fire a harpoon to prevent it from...
The general throws like a fucking harpoon or spear and takes off the ninja's arm.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So unfortunately, the samurai is a one-handed samurai now. Maybe he'll get a robot arm in the future, because this kind of ties into a failed idea from one of the previous Predator films.
Predators.
That was too fucking hokey, but this kind of can feed into it to do it better. but avoid that hokiness, and we'll get to it. So eventually, Ursa realizes they're not getting out of this. She can't get the fucking chain to unhook from the ship, and so she decides to sacrifice herself. She wanted to die anyway to join her son in Valhalla, and the best way to do it is in battle. So she decides to use her fucking shield that she had to
zip line
over there, and just in this awesome epic moment, flip over the main predator and slam the machine, which then lets go, and the ship flies off. But I
was like, kill me.
You thought the predators are going to kill her, but the predators are probably, God damn, woman. I'm just impressed. So they grab her and they don't kill her. And, she's like, talking shit to the big predator. And he's like, fuck.
Freeze dry this lady.
Yeah, so she survives because I didn't want her to die. She survives. And eventually he says, let's go hunting. And he slams this thing, and then all the Predator ships, one by one, are taking off and going after.
They're fucking dead.
And I'm like, damn, they're fucked.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna be real upset if they show like Torres getting away from the entire fleet of Predators that like know how to fly and like he doesn't, but they don't show any of that.
They don't show any of that. It cuts to black. Now you could put in your headcanon that they lost and they were frozen and be put back in there. That is probably the most likely explanation. I hope they don't say, no, they made it and they went somewhere else.
That is impossible. These fucking predators cannot catch up to them.
No. And plus, this could be a planet many light years away. They don't know how to engage hyperdrive or anything. So let's just say that they were recaptured.
Yeah.
And the final scene they show of all these containers. And that's how you realize, they're cryogenically frozen. These are killer of killers. The Predators have another tradition that has never been seen before, that if they deem you worthy enough, they're going to capture you and use you in sport against these kinds of things. So this means that not only do they do it for humans, but I think it's shown in some of these, the size of some of these.
It looked like an alien.
There's like different looking
kind of
aliens.
Yeah, it wasn't
now, the
a
first
xenomorph.
alien didn't look like a xenomorph. It almost looked more like a Zerg. A queen or something, that was interesting. And then there was another person, and I was like, oh shit, are we gonna maybe see some of the characters that in the past that they've been teasing? There was rumors that at the end of Predators they tried to get Arnold to come back, and Arnold looked at the script and was like, I'm not so sure about this. And so maybe that's the way to bring Dutch back from Predator 1 in animated form. And that's perfect because, frankly, Arnold is too old right now to show up in live action. But this way, cryogenically freezing him in his prime, and then you just get Arnold to voice the character, boom, you've solved all the problems there. However, as they continue to show these cryogenic chambers, they do fully show one person, and it is the prey chick.
Yep.
So eventually they went back, they captured that bitch, put her in a chamber, and they're going to use her.
Yeah, just leave her alone.
Nope.
Right. And so I think the story will be is Ursa and the samurai dude and Torres, the engineering guy who knows all of alien technology.
He's a
technomancer will break out. They'll also get the prey chick to join them in animated form, and maybe they can meet Dutch. That would be so fucking cool. And then, do another adventure.
Maybe they could do like the Van Damme Predator in the back.
The old Van Damme Predator. That's fucking a deep cut. If you don't know what Joe's talking about, Jean-Claude Van Damme was the original Predator, and it was a really bad sci-fi suit.
He bitched a lot, and I think they replaced him.
And we're good that they replaced him because they were looking for a better Predator suit anyway, and they had a much better creature effects. That'd be a cool Easter egg to do. Little. No, not literally Van Damme with his head hanging out of a costume. No, I was thinking the original creature that he played would have been fun.
Yeah, both.
So do we get the Predators? What was the one with Adrian Brody? That one's called Predators?
Yeah, that one is the.
I think that one's called Predators. And so maybe we go back and we try to rebroach that subject where you put all of these people in a battle royale situation and all of the killer of killers.
Predators, yeah. Okay, so now it's time, as I promised, to rate all the Predator films. Here are mine. There are 8 Predator films. I'm going to give you the definitive list. Nobody's more right than me. Number 8, the worst one, Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. That was the poor-ass sequel. While it to the original Aliens vs. Predator, it was just hokey. They had some blonde getting killed with the fucking, wild shuriken and the aliens, and it just looked cheap. And I was initially excited when it was coming out because it was like, okay, there are human characters and maybe they'll have guns. Because in the first Alien vs. Predator, there were no humans. It was just mainly the one chick, and the humans got killed really quickly in the pyramid. But it was a huge disappointment. Requiem sucked. It's the worst. Then I would put Alien vs. Predator. While I didn't like it as much as I wanted to, because Aliens vs. Predator, who wouldn't like that? I really want the comic storyline, something with that. I want to involve the Colonial Marines. That is my dream film with pulse rifles, smart guns, and stuff on the human side. Instead, they chose to go into the Antarctic, and they did all this other. It was a cool opening scene with predators killing a bunch of aliens on a pyramid, and then you had the
well, that's where the aliens are in Antarctic.
Yeah, so but it just wasn't all that great. And then this one chick getting the predators, alien head as a shield.
Yeah, at the end.
That's the throat one
hokey.
where the predalien goes to the maternity ward and like
that's Requiem.
Oh, that's Requiem.
That's the shitty Requiem one. Yeah.
You think that the autism predator is better than?
No, we're not at the autism.
Well, no,
yet.
I'm saying you think that is better than AVP
shit. Hold
because
on.
I think the autism one is one of the worst ones ever.
Yeah, no. I did that in out of order because
Okay.
I think because I was talking about
Predator?
Requiem, I went directly to AVP. That's okay. So here's how it goes. Okay. It goes number 8, Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Yeah. Then
The
Predator. That's the one that Alex is talking about. Shane Black. So initially, here's the thing. It's like half of that film is right and what I wanted because he was in the original Predator and you think that he would get it. But just the writing, the plot points, the autism juice, it's just fucking, it was terrible.
Well, they also cut half the movie out. There's all these scenes where we see predators in like military vehicles, like American military vehicles and all sorts of stuff. They cut all that stuff out.
You don't get to see it. Yeah. So unfortunately, it's just too hokey. Yeah, the action was all right and stuff, and it had Thomas Jane in it, right? I like Thomas Jane, if I remember right. But see, I could barely remember that one. And then Alien vs. Predator. Then I'm going to go with Predators. Predators, the Adrian Brody film with Lawrence Fishburne.
It's got Walter.
Yeah, it was good. That's when they capture all the humans, and they are on an alien planet, and then they have to figure out a way to get it.
Yeah, then there's like smaller predators.
I still feel Adrian Brody kind of miscast here, but it's interesting to see him kind of in a different...
Yeah, he was the serial killer, right?
Yeah, again... I didn't like the characters as much other than Lawrence Fishburne, and I did like the Predator side. This is when they started to play a little bit with, hey, maybe the Predators can have more dimensions to them. And so you see different Predators and things like that. You get the Predator dogs. You get stuff like that. So that one. And then next would be Predator 2.
Yeah.
And then this is going back and forth. Predator 2 is so nostalgic for me. I kind of want to put it second. Obviously, Dutch and the original Predator is the best.
There's so much mass.
We need to figure out where either Killer of Killers or Predator 2 in second slot. And I would need to rewatch Predator 2. I love it. It's so nostalgic to me. Donald Glover but I'm actually mixing the cut scene where all the predators are dancing. That's why I like it so much. That wasn't actually in the film. And there were some slow, weak moments in that.
Yeah.
But there were some really dark and really intense,
Where they're like fucking
bloody,
hanging.
yeah, voodoo
Yeah,
shit and
like
all
that.
sorts of crazy stuff like
That's
that.
pretty cool.
So it was dark and I liked it. So I think I'm still going to put the original just to nostalgia is winning. Member berries are winning. I'm going to put Predator, Killer of Killers, then Predator 2, then Predator. But those two could be exchanged in either slot.
So 4, you have where? What is your number 4?
4 would be Predators, Adrian Brody.
Well, where's Prey? So 5 is Predators.
I'm sorry.
5 is
we
Predators.
Forgot about Prey. Man, I'm just going by memory here instead of actually having a list pulled up. So in this case, Prey, I would have to. So no. So Prey could be in that rotation too of anything that could be second.
The top is top. One is the best. Not and then 2,
Go
3,
ahead.
4 for me.
Let's get y'all's.
So I think for me,
Start at the top this time.
Predator is all-time number 1. There's just so much goddamn mass and steroids and craziness, and that movie is incredible.
Perfect. Perfect
Number
dialogue.
2, I'm thinking Prey. And it may be a recency bias, but I think
feel
that's
like
I
might
think
be recency
but
bias.
it's like I think it was a super solid movie. And then Predator 2, tons of nostalgia. I remember some of the weak parts of that. So I think Prey and Predator 2 are they're pretty close. And I think Killer of Killers doesn't have the nostalgia, and I don't remember actively disliking certain like it's only certain parts of the Killer of Killers that I don't like, but like I think it's not quite as good as Predator 1, 2, or Prey.
Yeah, mine Predator, Predator 2, Prey, and then Killer of Killers.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Predator. Predator 2, Killer of Killers,
And then Prey?
and then Prey.
Oh.
Yeah, and then the rest, which is
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Predators.
Predators,
The Predator.
No!
Predators.
No, Alien vs. Predator,
that's right.
then
I don't
The
know.
Predator.
The Predator,
And then
don't know.
then Requiem.
And the AVP.
We got it. That's the list right there.
Definitive.
Mine better than Alex. Mine better than Joe. Mine better than yours. Unless ours is the same, you have the right answer. All right. Let us know what your rankings are. Thank you so much for geeking out with us for so long on the Predator franchise. An hour and 11 minutes. Ain't nobody watching this, but I don't give a fuck because I just want this historically. I love it. And clearly, we are getting more. Guys, there have been interviews with both Fedez and Dan. These two want a new Alien vs. Predator, and they have an idea, and they're leading towards it. And so we're going to start seeing little teases. The next sequel to Alien Romulus, I guarantee you there's going to be a tease there. I guarantee you there's probably going to be a tease in Predator Badlands, and we're headed towards another universe.
And I would give you an 11 out of 10 if you have Jean-Claude.
Joe. In the sequel, Killer of Killers 2, there has to be in the background
Jean-Claude
in the suit. But that doesn't make any sense, Joe. Why would they freeze one of their original Predators? Or no, you're saying no, it's not a predator. It was one of the species that beat a
such
predator.
an outcast.
So that species.
They're like, look at this guy.
Go kill
It was
that guy.
like in Ripley, Believe It or Not.
Now I'll believe. I would.
It's
Joe,
so
the
bizarre.
The most likely scenario is if it's a real creature, not Van Damme in a costume.
I'll give you 11. 11.
All right, I would give an 11. All right, thank you so much. That image in my head won't get out.
Predators versus dinosaurs. They have a frozen velociraptor.
That would be cool as
I
fuck.
bet I can find one like
There's
that.
already
movie?
a dinosaur in Killer of Killers, technically, the big predator dinosaur. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.